Hey JHM fam, I finally making this video. So if you want to figure out how to walk a student through a panic attack, an anxiety attack, general anxiety, or overstimulation, here's how you're going to do it. I have used this twice already in junior high, and I've been in junior high for less than a year. And I think every single leader should know how to do this, even if you might not be confident doing it. I think that we should all learn how to do this. So you know what to do within the time to be able to pass the student on to someone who can. I think everybody should be trained because it's scary to go through a panic attack or an anxiety attack and not have somebody, or have some immature junior high peers who don't know what they're doing either. So we're going to start with what causes panic attacks. And I'll give some stories at the end of like examples of like walking through this, but we're going to start with just like what causes this. You're like, why are kids having panic attacks? And it's just going to increase because like if you look at anxiety and depression and panic attacks, it's been like skyrocketing over the past couple of years. And so that's why we gotta figure out how to do this and not be, because if you've got the wrong attitude, that's gonna make it worse. Okay, what causes panic attacks? Lights, flashing lights, loud sounds like loud music or someone speaking over a microphone really fast, or just a whole bunch of people, right? Having too many people in one place, being in an unfamiliar place, like if someone's never been to JHM before, if a student's had a lack of sleep, a lack of food, if they're feeling abandoned or alone, if they've had experiences in the past of, say, assault or feeling unsafe or having a previous panic attack, or if they see something that reminds them of a negative experience that they've had in the past, like hearing a certain song and seeing certain people they had a negative impact with. And then like an example could just be like what could spark a panic attack would be someone pulls out a pocket knife and is like, oh my gosh, look at my cool pocket knife. And say a student struggles with self-harm and they see that and they're like, and if a few of these other factors are also present, it just might happen. And so it's not usually just one thing, it's usually a couple things happening at the same time, kind of generally on this list. How do you identify though? If you want to know if a student's having a panic attack or an anxiety attack, you're like, well, how do I know if that's happening? And there are a couple signs, but I mean, like you kind of just know. And here's some examples of like signs. There's some obvious and unobvious, like intensity of breathing. If someone's breathing like a certain way, like different, you can kind of just tell. Like if someone's hyperventilating, or if someone's breathing really shallowly, an example would be like if they're doing that, that's bad. If they're doing if they're doing that, you gotta keep your eye out. Those are some signs of having a panic attack or an anxiety attack, or overstimulation. If they're standing by themselves, or if they're up against a wall by themselves, or like on the ground. Sometimes you'll see like a whole bunch of like of the student's friends like surrounding them, trying to help but not really knowing how to do that, and so kind of making it worse. Another thing is like you can tell if someone's having a panic attack by looking at their eyes. You'll see fear, or you'll see like numbness or spacing out. So it's kind of like it goes on different spectrums. Some people could be like internally dying but you won't see it, and other people will physically look scared like this, like, and you could see them, like some people will be like searching around trying to find something familiar, but like you don't know what they're looking at, and like it'll be kind of like twitchy, or like dizzy. That's another sign. If they have audibilized, if they have voice that they've had panic attacks, or if they like make a joke like, yeah, I'm getting just an anxiety attack again, like you got to keep that in mind. Like it's not a joke. And if they've had it in the past, it's like, it's a lot likely to happen in the future. Barrier signals, if they're doing this, or if they're like fidgeting, It's usually a combination of many of these things. And if you really want to know, ask them to hold their hands. I say, what's a girl's name I can use? Kayla. Let's say Kayla. Sorry, Kayla. I don't mean this about you. So I'm like, hey, Kayla, can you hold your hands out? And if her hands are like shaking, you need to do this next couple steps. So that's how you identify. Now, where do you go from there? Like, if you know this person's panicking or like can't think straight, something's happening, this is what you're going to do. You're going to get them away from people and away from the overstimulation. It depends. Sometimes I'll like hold the person's hand and I'll just calmly walk out somewhere else. So say it's in the gym where everyone's like playing games and it's like loud music and a lot of people just running around. What I'll do is I'll hold the girl's hand, Kayla's hand, let's just use this girl as an example, and walk into the lobby where there's nobody else there and it's quieter. Like you can still hear the music, but it's a different place. So you get them out of that overstimulation. Don't let their friends be there either. That's not going to help. Try to get them away from as many people as you can, even if they're their friends and even if the friends are trying to help. One person might like really ask to stay. Maybe you can let one person stay. I've done this a couple times. Like, so you'll have like someone person to the side, but they have to be like, they have to be to the side. And that person might come in handy later when you say, hey, can you get a glass of water? Hey, do you know where her water bottle is? Something like that. Can you get a snack? Like that might come in handy. But generally, get the student away from their friends and make sure the other students, her friends, are like playing whatever the game. They're participating in the junior high group, right? Okay. Let's see. Where are we again? Away from overstimulation. First, you got to identify it. And usually at junior high, it's super easy. It's usually the people, lights, and loud noise. It's usually those three things. So if you can get them away from that, boom, lobby. Got it. Good places can be lobby area or outside or a room with a door that's open to avoid like problems, because obviously we have to take an adult should not be in a room with a student without somebody else there, right? So you might want to have a door open or something, but these are like general rules. So once you get them in a place, like say the lobby, you're gonna make sure you're having physical contact, because this person's like panicking, like doesn't know what to do, might be shutting down, and you don't know what's happening. You're gonna get them on the ground, and you're not just gonna get them on the ground, you're gonna get them against the wall. So a good thing about having somebody against the wall on the ground, and you're gonna sit with them, right? Either across, like holding the hands, or next to. Okay. A good thing about having them against the wall is that they don't have to fear what's behind them, because they know what's behind them. All they have to worry about is what's in front of them. And they're probably having tunnel vision anyway, so because you can't see very well when you're having a panic attack, you can't think, like it just all your senses stop working or get all wonky. And so on the ground against the wall, you're sitting down too, away from everybody. And make sure you're physically touching them to start like the grounding process and to make them feel like somebody's there, like either on the knee or holding their hand. Like you got to do something. Yeah, and also put your phone away, like throw it over there. Like if you have a phone or their phone, like take it, stick it in your pocket, don't look at it for the rest of this experience unless you have to, and set it aside. And you're only focused on this student, right? And the things that you're going to tell them, this student, right? You're going to first, your demeanor is going to be super calm and relaxed, gentle, chill. And you got to act like you've done this a million times. And you can't look annoyed. You can't look stressed. You can't look pressed on time. If you look any of those things, you're going to just mess it up. Because this student already feels like they're alone, right? And so if they feel your stress, they're going to be even more stressed than they already are, which is a lot, right? And so you're going to be super calm and talk really, really softly for this whole experience. They're going to probably feel bad, at least for me. So I'll probably explain my story after. When I was having a panic attack, I felt like an inconvenience. So what you're going to tell them, you're going to say that they don't have to apologize if they're apologizing. And Tell them that they're more important than whatever you're doing before. You're safe. I'm here. I'm not going to leave you. You are not an inconvenience to me. And I'll be here as long as you need me to, okay? And then don't ask why they're panicking. Don't ask why they're panicking. And other students will walk around and be like, oh, are you okay? What's happening? What's it? That's even worse. Just don't. That's why I say get away from all the other students. What's some other things you're going to be saying? Okay, and also you're going to have to be okay with them taking a while to answer the questions. We'll get to the questions. We'll get to the grounding. But these are just some preliminary things to think about. Be okay with it taking a while. Be okay with the silence. Like if you say something and just like sit, just silence, wait. Because they might not. They're trying to process. They're trying to think. And it's hard, okay? And if you have to get up to do something, make it the expectations very clear. Like, hey, I'm going to get you a cup of water. I will be gone for 1 minute and I will be back, okay? And so like set those expectations so they know you're not leaving that. Like you gotta like be super like a little like a child, because that might be their mental capacity at the moment. Now let's go to grounding. You've gotten on the ground against the wall, right? You're up against the wall and you're across from them or sitting next to them. Now what you're gonna do, you're gonna start breathing. You're gonna say, hey, let's breathe together. And you can do a couple different things. Here's sometimes what I'll do. You say, we're gonna inhale, we're gonna hold, we're gonna exhale, we're gonna hold. And it just depends on like how much they're freaking out. Because if they're hyperventilating, it's gonna be really hard, but you just gotta go for it. And say we're gonna breathe together. So a good way to do it is just to say is like, okay, inhale, hold, and do that like 5 times. Have the breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold. And you might not even have to, sometimes you can't hold at the last breathe out because it just doesn't work. But these are just like, this is the most important thing. They have to stabilize their breathing, because they before were breathing like really shallowly, like they weren't breathing. They have to take a deep breath from their stomach. And if you don't know how to do the counting thing, just say, hey, let's breathe together. Just do that, and do that multiple times, like more than you think you need to. And that's the first thing you're gonna do once you get to the ground. Another thing to tell them to do is, hey, press your feet into the ground. And that's to like make the grounding process better, because they're everywhere but here. And yeah, press the feet into the ground, push the ground, like make you feel that. Another thing is, I haven't confirmed this online. I just have an EMT person, we'll get to that later, who told me this, so I'm taking his word for it. Tell them to make spit. Can you make spit in your mouth? Did you know that you can't think when you're making spit in your mouth? And then you try it and you're like, wait, what? Yeah, so that's another thing to get the mind off of whatever's happening. Tell them to make spit. Okay, another thing, you're gonna start with the questions. And all those things with pressing the feet in the ground, breathing, all that stuff, you're going to like bring up every few questions. You're gonna be like, after you ask some and you sit in silence for a little bit, you say, hey, well, let's breathe again. And it goes like at a process of doing it again. And honestly, you might just have to see it happening, but here are just some tips, right? And so what you're gonna do is when you're asking them questions in your gentle, calm tone, you're gonna go from outward to kind of the middle to inward. First of all, they have to see what's happening around them. Okay, let me analyze the situation. And then what's trying to remember certain things, like that doesn't, okay, thinking a little bit harder. And then they're going to see, okay, remember who they are as people. Who am I? What is my life? I'm a person, because they're like disassociating. And so that's the general way we're going to start. So some questions you can ask that are with the outward thing is you kind of just sit down and you say, can you tell me 3 colors that you see in this room? This might take a while. They might have to sit and be like, green, gray, blue. And then you're going to be something like, good job. Yeah, I like that. And then you're going to say, can you tell me 3 different shapes that you see? And then they look around and they tell you the shapes that they see. Tell them to touch something. Hey, touch my dress. What does that feel like? Can you describe that for me? Soft. Like, they're gonna have to make them. They need to think, okay? And so do stuff like that. Another thing, other questions. What color is that sofa? Can you describe that car in 1 word? Things that make them analyze the surroundings. And it might be annoying to do that for them. It was for me, but it's helpful, okay? Next thing, some like a middle thing. Like, you can ask, like, what's the last thing you ate? When was that? How long have you been coming to JHM? Who did you come with? Things like that. And don't ask it like the way I just asked them. You got to be calm. This might take anywhere from, depending on how bad it is, it could take anywhere from 3 minutes to 30 minutes. And you got to be okay with being there that long, okay? And then when it comes to inward, like with those questions, ask, what's your full name? Can you spell that out for me? How old are you? When's your birthday? Can you tell me the names of the people in your family? And then pick whatever sibling they said. Can you describe that sibling in 1 word? What do you like to do when you're home by yourself? What are some hobbies that you like to do? Is this the first time that this has happened before? Things like that. And after some time, it might be 8 minutes. You're going to be like, just kind of chilling, sitting there. And then you're going to do breathing again. And then you're going to be like, shoot, this person needs food because she hasn't eaten since breakfast. Or at all. And you're like, well, that's why this is happening. And so you're going to get some water or have somebody else get some water for her or them, whoever it is. I've only done this with girls before. So that's why I'm doing that. And you're going to see if you can get food, like a granola bar, like a sandwich, anything that there is around you. Like for me, when it happened to me, I was at an amusement park. I was at Sunsplash, the water park. And I think Jesse bought me ice cream. Yeah. So like something to eat. It doesn't matter what it is. Like maybe Gatorade. That would be great. Electrolytes. But like set expectations. Like if there's food, like water, you give them water and say, hey, can you take 2 sips? And then they take the sips, right? That's it. And you give them the food. You only have to take 3 bites, okay? You can do it. Okay. And so after you get a hold for those questions. You'll figure it out. They just come up. You just like look like it takes practice, like asking questions. But if you already know how to ask questions to people, it's really easy. Okay, how to reintroduce the student back into the main group. You're like, I think that it's good, or we have to get to group time. What you're gonna do is, first of all, if students ask, so you're gonna stand up, you're gonna hold the hand, you're gonna walk and say, hey, let's do this. We're going to go into small groups now. I'm gonna walk you to your small group leader. And students are going to ask, are you okay? What happened? What happened? Are you okay? And you're just gonna be like, you're gonna tell them off like really fast. You're gonna be like, hey guys, please don't talk about it. Please don't ask questions. Be really vague and tell them not to ask anything right now. Don't make it a big deal. Just kind of be really calm. This whole time, you are the stability. You're supposed to be the calm one, right? You're supposed to be the safe one. Right? Obviously stay with them until they're feeling comfortable enough. But once they have to be reintroduced, you got to tell the leader that if you're not going to stay with them and sit with them the whole time, for the rest of the night or whenever you think they're like okay, you're going to have that leader who's their leader fill down what happened. Hey, I saw Kayla in the back of the room during games and she was panicking, so I brought her into the lobby. It's been about 20 minutes. Just be gentle, like something like just fill her in on what happens, and then make sure the leader knows what to do and that they're comfortable and that the student's comfortable with the leader. And then when it comes to talking to parents, there are a couple different options. The first one is if it's bad enough that the student wants to be sent home, which has happened before, they're gonna probably call their parents, have them probably not, they can text, which is fine, but like if they're gonna call their parents, make sure you get to speak to the parent. Like, so the students, you say, hey, can I talk? And it's like, hey, Kayla's mom, yeah, so she was having an anxiety attack over here, so I brought her into the lobby. She's doing okay now, but I think she wants to just go home. It's okay. We're here for her. Nothing bad's gonna happen. And how long do you think it's gonna take for you to get here? Okay. And so be just really calm if that's gonna happen. Explaining what happened, why you think it happened. Say, I think she was just a little overstimulated, but I wouldn't blame her. It's all right since she's not an inconvenience to us. The things that you were already telling her, you are not an inconvenience. I'm going to be here as long as I need to be, like those kinds of things. And you're just gonna be really calm this whole time. But after the night is over, say they didn't call the parents and they just stayed. You're gonna walk the student to the car, and you're gonna speak briefly with the parent. You're gonna inform them what happened. Say, hey, I just want to let you know she's doing fine now, but she had an anxiety attack. We sat her aside, we did some grounding techniques, and she's doing fine now. But I just wanted to let you know so that you're informed. Has this happened before that you know of? And so like these kinds of things. Those are generally my notes on the topic. But you guys need to know what to do because it is terrifying if you don't have somebody who knows what to do. Oh my gosh. Like that's like it almost will make it worse. Almost like if you're just gonna be like, what's happening? Are you okay? Wait, what's going on? And you're just like very like harsh, and like you just gotta be calm and gentle. If that's one thing you take away from this, be calm and gentle and sit with them in a not overstimulated place. Honestly. And this is the part where you can click off the video now if you want to. I'm just gonna explain my story. So I had a panic attack in June of 2023. It was SummerSlam. Probably not doing that again. We pulled an all-nighter with the youth group. I had never pulled an all-nighter before. I pulled an all-nighter. I was really delusional. If I don't get sleep, that's my most insecure place. And so I was already delusional. I was tired. But we decided to go to Sunsplash the next day. I don't know why that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, to have an all-nighter and then go to a water park in the sun. Like, that just sounds really bad. But that's what we did. And we all went to Sunsplash, a whole bunch of us, the whole youth group people who came. And some of those factors that caused my panic attack, I will list them for you and I'll explain what happened and what was going through my head. So obviously my situation is a little different because I was sleep deprived. And that's one of the things on the list. Sleep deprivation, not having enough sleep. I don't think I ate breakfast that morning. I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember. That whole period of time is a blur for me since all those chemicals were in my head, like firing off. So I'm hanging out. I'm fine. I'm tired, but I'm like doing the whole Sunsplash deal. And one of the factors, I was by myself. I felt alone. I felt abandoned. I felt like I didn't have somebody to stick with. And I was getting frustrated because I couldn't think straight. And this probably had to do with the sun and the sleep deprivation and the chemicals in my brain from not having enough sleep. I go to the lockers by Sunsplash, like the lockers, I don't know how to explain it. I sit down and I start doing the 4-4-4-4 breathing that we had learned in school, like of all things. And I'm like, I start counting on my fingers and breathing, and I'm freaking. I'm super frustrated, and because I can't think straight, and that's my one thing. If I can't think straight, I'm messed up. Like I feel super upset, and so I couldn't think straight. I'm counting, and then I feel like I don't know if I was there for 5 minutes or 45 minutes. I was probably there for at least 20 minutes, I think. I don't know how long I was there. I don't know. But I was breathing in, hold, out, hold, like a million times. That was like the only thing I was doing. I couldn't even remember who I was anymore, honestly. And I'm by myself. And then someone says my name after a long time. It's Camden. And I like open my eyes and I can't see him. I'm like, and he's like, Jocelyn. I'm like, what? He's like, are you okay? And I'm like, and then I see him. And I'm like trying to explain, I can't talk. I can't so that's one of the things. If the student probably can't formulate sentences very well if it's bad, like, And I'm like, I can't. And he's like, are you okay? And I start hyperventilating. I've never done that before. Like, it was weird. I started being like, like that bad. It was that bad. And it was really bad. It was so scary. It was probably the scariest moment of my life. And he's like, I'm gonna get my dad. And he runs, and I feel alone. Again, this is why you gotta set expectations. Hey, I'll be back in 30 seconds. Like, I didn't know how long he was gone. It was probably only like 30 seconds. It felt like he was gone for 5 minutes, and I was hyperventilating this whole time. I'm like panicking, like quite literally panicking. He gets his dad, EMT, Doug, right? Well, he used to be. Anyway, and he explains, he walks me through this. He's on the ground with me, right next to me. And he's like, hey, we're gonna breathe. And he like, just that. And he's like, hey, tell me 3 different shapes you see. That was the most frustrating thing. Like, of all these things, there were like the 2 most annoying grounding techniques was the shapes. Was like, can you tell me 3 shapes that you see? I couldn't, I'm like, I could not find any shapes. I was literally not mentally there. And then oh, it was so scary. Oh, and then the pushing your feet into the ground. I hated that. I don't know. But you gotta like ground them. You gotta get all the senses. Hey, what do you smell? What do you smell? What does this feel? Touch the ground. What does it feel like? Rough. Like, you gotta do that. All these things. I don't know how long I was there too. And then he passed me on to a different leader, Jesse, who's the one who got me the ice cream and sat with me for literally 2 hours. Let me look at my list of things that I'm gonna like explain. So causes, too many people, unfamiliar place, lack of sleep, lack of food, feeling abandoned or alone. And I think those were just mine, but it's usually like a combination of all these factors, right? And so I had that panic attack. It was a whole mess. But like, since then, I'm like, shoot, I gotta know how to do this. And so, all the things that Doug did to me, which I explained to you guys, and just ask those questions, just talk, speak really calmly, tell them like I said sorry so many times, and it's like, no, don't be sorry. There's nothing for you to be sorry about. This is absolutely not, you were not an inconvenience to me. Like, these things, right? That is huge. And at least for me, that panic attack affected me. It affects me even now. I feel like it changed something chemically in my brain because of like all the chemicals firing up, right? And then that adrenaline mixing in with that, I think something happened. I don't know what happened, but I think my brain changed. And it freaks me out, actually, to think about that. But like, I'll get anxious more, and like I used for a couple months. This is why I went gluten-free I'm still gluten-free, but we'll see how long that lasts. Like, I would just go places, and I would like be like, what if I had a panic attack right here? No one would be here, and I would be stuck here forever. Anyway, compiling this up, what you're gonna do: get the student in a place away from the overstimulation. Be calm. Ask questions. Be calm. Ask questions. Breathe. Be calm. Breathe. Be calm. Get water. Calmly stand up. These things. You get it? Okay. Thank you, guys. I hope that this is fine. And if you don't want to spend this much time, you should have put it in ×2 speed, honestly. But that's for you guys, because I really want us to know how to do this. I really want us to know how to deal with students like this, because it's hard. And I've already done it twice in junior high, and a couple other times outside of junior high, how to work through panic attack or an anxiety attack with somebody, or just general overstimulation. If it's just overstimulation, kind of do a general, just maybe 3-minute thing. Get them out, have them breathe a little bit, say, hey, is this happening for you? Okay, it was just the lights, I just can't. Okay, and just breathe again, and then introduce them back in. We're gonna do this together, okay, bye. This is 30 minutes. See you.